What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to 212 Projects and a mega exciting episode because we are finally putting the Z20LET in the Corsa. You have no idea how buzzing I am for this. So by the end of this weekend, the Z20LET will be sitting in the Corsa. Then maybe 1 or 2 weeks after that, it will be running and we'll finally hear some mad turbo noises out of the Corsa C, and I am so excited. I cannot wait. So let's get into it. But before all of that, we've got a couple of things to do first. As you can see, the engine's still on the stand. We need to get it off the stand. We need to get the flywheel fitted, the clutch fitted, the gearbox fitted, and the starter motor fitted, and then she can finally go in the car. We need to clean the gearbox because that's manky, so I'm going to hit that with a pressure washer and then fit that, and then the starter motor and the wiring for the starter motor can go on, and then she's pretty much ready to go in. So once the gearbox was cleaned, I had to get the engine off the stand, but first I had to set up the engine crane. It takes up so much space in my tiny garage, so I have to push the car half out the garage just so I can use the crane. But once that's done, I strap up the engine. Every time I lift an engine, I always use an old seat belt. One, because it doesn't damage the engine, and two, they're more than strong enough. So after that, I can put the engine on a pallet so I can get the stand adapter off the back of the engine, and then I can crack on with everything else. So as you've just seen, I've got the engine off the stand and onto a pallet, and now I need to change the rear main seal before I can put the flywheel and the clutch on. So I'm going to quickly change this and then we can crack on. Right, so now we've got the new rear main seal in. I gave this side a wee clean up because it's a bit manky. So now we can get the flywheel on and get it all topped up, and then we can fire the clutch on after that, and then it's gearbox time. So now we've got the flywheel on, it's time for the new clutch. So next is the gearbox. We can fire that on, and then the starter motor can go on. Then she's ready to go in the car. So fingers crossed the gearbox goes on nice and sweet, and then she'll be sitting in there by the end of this weekend. But I'm not there yet, so I'm going to get cracked on with the gearbox and get it on. Right, so it's been a bit of a nightmare to get to where we're at now. Try to get the gearbox on myself, things not fitting, losing bolts, try to find bolts, it's been a nightmare. But we are finally at a stage where we can put the engine in the car. It's just going to be sitting in for now because I need to work out my engine mounts and that. But the main goal was to get the engine in the car, and we're just about to do that. So I'm pretty gassed, but we'll see how it goes. So, you may be wondering why I am now sitting next to an engine that's not in a car after you've literally just seen me put the engine in the car. But let me explain. After the absolute nightmare of a job of trying to fit the engine in, I realised that the engine mounts that I bought months ago are the wrong ones. And so, because of the way my garage is, I have to push the car half out the garage so I can use the engine crane. I had to pull the engine back out so I could shut the garage. But it's actually a good thing because I realised that when the engine was sitting in the bay, there's a few things I need to do before I actually put the engine in. So it's kind of a good thing, but kind of not because I had to put the engine back out. So while I wait on the correct engine mounts arriving, I'm going to crack on with the things that I probably should have done before I attempted to put the engine in. So what actually needs done before the engine goes in? There's actually not a lot that needs done, but it's a lot easier to do it when the engine's out. So first off, the battery cables from the starter either need to be extended or I need to run new ones because the Z20LET ones are actually too short to reach where the battery is in the Corsa. So I'm probably going to run new ones just so I'm not cutting and joining battery cables. Second is this mount for the front of the gearbox is actually in the wrong place. So these need to be cut off, and what some people do is re-weld them back in where they're meant to be. But there's actually a company, I believe Imperial Performance, they make a mount that drills through the subframe and bolts to the subframe. So I've ordered one of them So I'm going to cut the mounts off and then put the Imperial Performance mount on when the engine's in. And then the rear dog bone mount, that needs to come out because I've ordered a shorter one, which apparently is better. I don't know, we'll see. And I think that might be it, but I'll probably find stuff as I go. But for now we're going to crack on with that. But fingers crossed the mounts don't take too long to arrive, and then we can actually get the engine in the car, finally. Okay, so we've ticked a few jobs off the list. As you've just seen, I've cut that bracket off, and like I said, the Imperial Performance bracket bolts through the subframe, so I'll put that on obviously when the engine's in. I had to jack the car up to get underneath the subframe, so while it was in the air I changed that dog bone mount because I already had that. And as you've just seen, it is a lot shorter than the previous one, so apparently that's a good thing, I don't know. Also, while it was in the air, I raised the coilovers a little bit. Don't shout at me, I know I discussed myself, but when I put the coilovers on, obviously I put them as low as I possibly could, but that meant that the engine crane legs couldn't fit under the car, so I had to jack the car up to get the engine crane in, and it was just a nightmare. So I'm hoping that I've raised them enough that I don't need to jack the car up anymore to get the engine crane in, but I won't know that until we go to put the engine in. So now it's just a case of waiting for all the engine mounts to show up, which is a bit of a pain, but there's nothing I can do about that, I just need to wait. But don't worry, this isn't the end of the video. I said at the start of this video that the engine was going in this video, and that's still the case. I just don't know when. Let's cut to the engine going in the car. So there we have it, the Z20LET is finally in the Corsa, and I am so gassed. All the engine mounts bar one is on. We still get the front gearbox mount to go on, but I think we'll leave it there for now. I'm going to say it, fingers crossed we get this running in the next episode, but you'll need to wait and find out if we do or not. So like I said, I'm going to leave it here for now, but as always, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.